Call case 2242, the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michael Kindred. Defendant is here today electronically. Are you in your home, Mr. Kindred?
My father's house.
Okay, your father's house. Mr. Eldred is here today on his behalf, also electronically. Mr. Baldwin's here today on behalf of the prosecutor's office, and Mr. Walton is here on behalf of the probation department. Today is the date and time set for sentencing. The building is closed because of the COVID-19 outbreak, but we are proceeding electronically and it is being broadcast live on YouTube. Any objection to this process here today, Mr. Eldred?
Objection, Your Honor.
Did you say no objection?
No objection, Your Honor. Sorry.
Caught the second half of that, so. And Mr. Kindred, any objection to proceeding in this manner?
No, sir.
Mr. Baldwin?
No objection, Your Honor.
Then have you reviewed the pre-sentence report and the sentencing guidelines with your client, Mr. Eldred?
We have, Your Honor.
All right, any additions, deletions, or corrections to either one?
We would correct his date of birth as actually July 30th, 1989. I believe it states April 30th, 1989.
All right.
Other than that, we take no exception to the report as written.
And Mr. Kindred, did you review the report with Mr. Eldred?
Yes, sir.
Did you see any corrections that need to be made other than your date of birth?
No, sir.
Mr. Baldwin?
I saw no corrections, Your Honor.
The report then is adopted for sentencing. The guidelines are appropriately scored, although advisory in nature. Allocution then, Mr. Eldred?
Your Honor, we would ask the court, I know the recommendation is within the plea agreement that we entered. We would ask the court to consider foregoing the further jail time at this time and giving Mr. Kindred an opportunity at straight probation with the jail suspended at this point. He is working at Prairie View Farms. He has had no issues while he's a lengthy pre-trial release while we're getting this process in order. We believe he's a good candidate for community corrections at this time. He would not be opposed to electronic monitoring if the court wished to do that, but we would ask the court to consider possibly overlooking the terms of the plea agreement and granting him probation at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Kindred, anything you want to tell the court before sentencing here today?
Just that I'm on the right track and I'm trying to stay there and I'm working. I was working before the COVID-19, but the Addy got shut down due to that, and I found new employment and would like to keep working.
All right. Anything else?
No, that'd be it.
Mr. Baldwin?
Your Honor, obviously the plea agreement speaks for itself and the recommendation is in line with that. I believe the recommendation actually includes the suspended jail that Mr. Eldred touched upon. I'm assuming that that's in part because of the COVID situation. As a representative of the people, it's a little bit of a unique situation as it is a firearms case, which is usually fairly significant and can come with some danger. However, there's also some a limited criminal history as compared to some other cases that we would see in this particular matter. I believe it's one felony and one misdemeanor. Obviously, we are in unique times, so ultimately I'll leave it to the discretion of the court since any probation without jail and having the jail suspended would be somewhat of a departure down from, I believe it's 150 days, that's at the minimum. However, the people would request that if the court is inclined to suspend any upfront jail, that some sort of electronic monitoring be placed as part of the order in order to make sure that the public is safe.
Had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report. The defendant's 30 years old. This is his second felony conviction. The facts of this case are a bit unusual that his wife called, had them pick up a gun at the home, and he admitted to possessing it. So it's not the circumstance where he had it in the car or was carrying it in his waistband or something like that, a bit different. He does have one other misdemeanor. He's been on parole for his other offense, which was a CSC first conviction, not a similar offense to this. He is working. He tested negative with pretrial services here on a drug test, which is good. Has a GED, which is positive. There is a substance abuse history. Mostly it's alcohol at this point, and everything else is behind him. You're going to serve probation for the next year and a half. You'll abide by all the usual terms and conditions. Those will be explained to you in your probation order and also by your agent. You'll abide by all the special conditions listed here. I'm not going to read each of those to you, but they all apply to your probation. Specifically, I'll mention that you must serve 150 days in jail with credit for 2 days served, but I will suspend the remainder of that because you behaved well during the time of this outbreak and between the time of the plea and sentencing in this case. You will pay $68 in state costs, $130 crime victim fee, $30 a month probation oversight fee, $440 in court costs, a $100 fine, $250 for the services of your attorney. Do you understand your sentence in this case?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you may request leave to appeal this plea-based conviction and sentence. If you need an attorney to assist you with that appellate process, you must make a written request for that within 42 days of today's date. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
All right, what we're going to do is, any objection to me signing that form that he's received his rights, Mr. Eldred?
No, Your Honor, I would state for the record that I did read that form to him prior to us going on the record.
I will sign that here today. And what will happen is we'll mail a copy of this to, or get a copy of it to Mr. Eldred, who will send it out to you. That is the form you need to sign and submit if you wish to request an attorney and appeal this conviction, although any appeal is by leave, not by right. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Eldred, anything else for today?
I would just tell Michael that we're going to leave the meeting and I will call you and talk about this, okay? So I'll call you here in a second. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, anything else, Mr. Baldwin?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Walton, thank you for joining us. We're all set.
Your Honor.